Yeah, let's cheer the idea of sex.
Sex, the love of it, the dogged, unashamed pursuit of it, Russel Brand's thing. Now tonight, off stage, it sees him accused of rape, sexual assault, controlling and abusive behaviour.
He's grabbing at my underwear, pulling it to the side. I'm telling him to...
Nation state, which is a relatively modern idea, has already been made in power terms redundant because of the global power of transnational corporations.
Good news, the coronavirus pandemic is in decline. Bad news, the Great Reset, where you will own nothing and be happy, is being brought about by economic policy decisions made by your government.
Welcome to Conspiracy Theories Revealed. Conspiracy theories have been around for as long as mankind. And in this day and age, with the massive rise in the use of social media, the internet, TV and streaming platforms globally...
But it's still, presumably, it's a stratified society, China. So they've sort of diverted from any idea of sort of equality.
Prominent celebrities such as Russel Brand can ensure that any conspiracy theories they promote go viral almost immediately. Likewise, as is the case with Russel Brand himself, it can be a catch-22 situation where they themselves become the focus of conspiracy theories. The recent allegations against Russel Brand of sexual assault and sexual and emotional abuse by numerous women are a case in point. Is this a case where the truth is stranger than fiction? In this video, we count down and reveal Russel Brand's most outrageous conspiracy theories, from the truth behind the Ukraine war to 5 companies controlling the world to supporting the Great Reset and many more. So here we go. Number 10, there'll be no food left.
That seems to suggest that Lunchables, which is, a product directly created for kids, has got lead in it.
Consumer Reports is asking school cafeterias all across this country to stop giving students Lunchables. Those are packaged food items that generally are really popular with kids, but the watchdog group says it tested them and found that some Lunchables contain potentially dangerous levels of harmful contaminants.
Russel Brand has expressed his concern that the global food supply is on the edge of collapse. According to him, a combination of climate change, corporate greed, and government carelessness will lead to worldwide food shortages.
But it's my belief, Tulsi, that what we are sliding into is a new kind of technological dictatorship, a despotism that bears the aesthetic of bureaucracy. It seems to me that the thing that we are being instructed to fear in the form of Donald Trump is already upon us in the form of this technocratic yet technological dictatorship. It's already arrived.
He believes that the elites are manipulating the agricultural industry to create a dependency on genetically modified crops and artificial foods. This, he claims, will lead to a situation where natural nutritious food becomes limited and expensive, accessible only to the wealthy. Brand's theory portrays a dystopian future where food security is a major global crisis, pushing people to the edge of survival. Number 9. What? The Great Reset is not a conspiracy.
It's Davos week, the Great Reset. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Why do we keep hearing this phrase? What is going on?
Brand has dived headfirst into the controversial idea of the Great Reset, a theory suggesting that global elites are using the pandemic to reshape the world economy. So the Great Reset is a proposal by the World Economic Forum to build a more sustainable future.
At this point, when we talk about the WEF and the Great Reset, it becomes, in a sense, a kind of nitpicking to decide what the WEF's power are and what the overall agenda of the powerful people and institutions in this world actually is.
But Russell argues it's a cover for a fraudulent and sinister agenda. He claims it's about gaining power and wealth, stripping away individual freedoms, and implementing a form of global socialism. This reset, according to Brand, is a hidden takeover, disguised as necessary change, pushing society towards a more controlled and monitored existence. Number 8. 5 companies control the world. Conspiracy theory or fact?
Do you ever feel like a powerful elite are running your life? Well, you might be right, because 5 companies control basically everything.
Russel Brand often highlights the huge power possessed by a handful of multinational corporations. He claims that companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft hold unimaginable influence over global affairs.
15 years, what we've seen is the rise of the tech companies, obviously, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. These are the companies that now people consider to be the most powerful companies on the
And
on the
are
planet.
they?
These corporations, Brand argues, control huge amounts of data, media, and economic resources, effectively shaping public opinion and policy. He suggests that their control over technology and information allows them to manipulate markets and governments.
Why are all the biggest corporations in the world owned by the same people? Apple, Facebook, Microsoft.
While this theory crosses the line between conspiracy and fact, Brand is convinced that this concentration of power threatens democracy and personal freedoms. Number 7, COVID denialism, vaccine gold rush.
The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election.
Brand is highly suspicious about the COVID-19 pandemic and vaccines. He suggests that the pandemic was used by pharmaceutical companies to make huge profits.
Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact.
According to Brand, the vaccine launch was more about making money than saving lives. He points out the billions made by these companies as proof.
I present also to you John Fulton, president of BioLease in Canada, who says he could be making millions of doses today if the know-how had been shared.
Brand's theory places him among those who believed the pandemic was exaggerated or even planned to benefit a few at the expense of many. At Conspiracy Theories Revealed, we also let you be the judge by encouraging you to share your comments and thoughts in the comments section of this video. Number 6, 9/11's nonsense.
Destruction of the Twin Towers in New York, 9/11, as what some people say looked like a controlled explosion. And one might read that as you giving some credence to conspiracy theories.
You can read the book in whatever manner you would
do
like
you
to.
believe that the Twin Towers were destroyed by forces of the American government or similar?
I think it's interesting that at this time where we have so little trust in our political figures, where ordinary people have so little trust in their media, that we have to remain open-minded to any kind of possibility. I don't trust.
Brand questions the official story of the 9/11 attacks. He suggests that there might be more to the story, suggesting a cover-up. Brand points to inconsistencies in the reports and the quick introduction of surveillance laws as suspicious.
Anything other than the Al-Qaeda destroyed those buildings?
Well, what I do think is very interesting is the relationship that the Bush family have had for a long time with the Bin Laden family. What I do think is interesting is that the way that even the BBC reports events in Ottawa to subtly build an anti-Islamic narrative. I think that's very interesting. I think it's interesting the way these tragic events are used to enforce further controls on us. What's this Snoopers Charter? Yeah, I think it's fascinating, mate.
He believes the attacks were used to justify wars in the Middle East and simultaneously reduce civil liberties. Brand's theory suggests that 9/11 was either allowed to happen or arranged by those in power for their own gain. Number 5, truth behind the Ukraine war, the Russel Brand version.
This war is a simple black and white thing. Either Putin is evil or NATO started it. But when did the war in Ukraine really start? And who really started it?
Brand's viewpoint on the Ukraine war involves hidden agendas and power struggles. He thinks it's not just a fight over land, but a battle between superpowers.
All of our hearts. But I've got some interesting things to share with you, some vital ideas I think you might find troubling. They are connected, of course, to weapons sales and structuring debt within Ukraine in ways that might diminish the possibility of democracy going forward, depending on what your definition of democracy is.
According to Brand, Western countries want to maintain their dominance, while Russia wants to regain its influence.
Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said recently a Russia-Ukraine peace deal was blocked by Western powers. We know that Boris Johnson visited Ukraine and counselled Zelensky against taking the peace deal that was on the table. That's just one thing. Let me hit you with all this stuff. Zelensky has vowed to retake Crimea, but Russia said that's the red line that will spark nuclear war. We know that, all right?
He also believes there are economic reasons, like control over natural resources and gas pipelines.
And now we're in a war in Ukraine, and we are in it. This is absolutely a war between the United States and Russia. It's extraordinarily dangerous. We're told every day in the mainstream media, an unprovoked war that started on February 24th, 2022.
Brand's theory sees the Ukraine war as part of a bigger game of global politics, where true motives are hidden. Number 4, the elites are conspiring against humanity.
I feel that because of the nature of the work we generally do, where we talk about political corruption, centralised power, the nature and role of the media in keeping a population spellbound, I wonder how you feel that your work, which focuses on individual and personal awakening.
Russel Brand often talks about a small group of elites controlling the world. He believes they manipulate events to keep their power. According to Brand, these elites create economic crises, political chaos, and social divisions to distract and control people.
Truth is often concealed and manipulated when various interests appear to conspire to manage information in ways that seem advantageous to the interests of the powerful. Remember, you have to be careful about using the word conspiracy because, as George Carlin always said, where interests converge, no conspiracy is necessary.
He points to the growing wealth gap between the haves and have-nots and increased surveillance of people through the likes of forced online banking as clear evidence that the elites are conspiring against humanity.
I'm not okay inside, and I still believe that my inner life can be improved by the management of external circumstances. I've found this to be Sisyphean, an endless daily task that seems futile and resets each day at dawn.
Brand's theory also suggests that the real fight is between these elites and regular people who just want freedom and justice. Number 3. Russel Brand believes in God, awakened man or opportunist.
Right, I wonder that, some people, I think, give him a quick dose, because I as well, I respect Brian, and it's further to my point, similar to the hunting argument. I happen to believe in God, but when I talked to Brian Cox, I got to the point where I was saying, all right, even though I believe in God and you are an atheist, although he said I don't call myself an atheist.
Brand has recently become increasingly spiritual, saying he now believes in God.
In the Bible, it says you should pray secretly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there is something sort of deeply private about it. But I also think, Ricky, that there is a social consequence to, I don't necessarily want to say atheism, because I completely agree with your point that there's good and bad, in beyond those kind of limited taxonomies. But I do feel like when people think there's no purpose or meaning, and that needn't necessarily be just because of a belief in God.
He presents himself as someone who has found a deeper meaning in life. However, some critics believe Brand is using his newfound spirituality to gain followers and influence.
People ask me questions like, do you think God is real? And a question like that always begs the question for me. It's like, well, what the hell do you mean real? Like, what makes something real?
They doubt the genuineness of his beliefs, saying he uses them to stand out in the crowded media world. Whether genuine or not, Brand's newly acquired belief in God adds an interesting twist to his personality, mixing conspiracy with personal growth. Number 2. Are the mainstream media trying to start a civil war?
The left versus right culture war conflagration continues to increase in temperature, and many people are asking, are we on the brink of civil war?
Brand believes the mainstream media is trying to create division and conflict.
The media, our friends, our allies, telling us the truth and definitely not amping up some stories and ignoring others in order to shape our reality to benefit them and their corporate partners.
He argues that extreme news and biased reporting are making people angry and divided.
Russel Brand, he's got papers out, he's reading these facts.
John Legum, founder and author of Popular Information, writes, on the 4th of June 2021, a report of a KGO TV in San Francisco tweeted a cell phone video of a man in Walgreens filling a garbage bag with stolen items and riding his bicycle out of the store.
According to Brand, media companies benefit from this chaos because it drives both high audience retention and a distraction from reality, both at the same time.
The mainstream media is not your friend. The culture is not your friend. The government is not your friend. Big business is not your friend. They are operating collegiately in unison to create a set of systems that are beneficial to them and disadvantage you.
He warns that this manipulation could lead to real violence, or even a civil war. Brand's theory represents a deeper distrust of mainstream media, viewing it as a tool for control rather than truth. Number 1. Sexual assault allegations, a coordinated media campaign, or fact?
Russel Brand, the movie star, the comedian, now the podcaster, was a sex criminal, a bad man, a sex criminal.
Comedian and actor Russel Brand faces allegations of rape, sexual assault and emotional abuse, spanning 7 years at the peak of his fame. The claims
Brand has faced serious allegations of sexual assault, which he strongly denies. He suggests that these accusations are part of a coordinated campaign to discredit and silence him, planned by those threatened by his controversial views.
Now to disturbing claims made against Russel Brand, accused of rape and sexual assault in a joint investigation by 3 media outlets. Allegations the British comedian strongly denied, excuse me, in an online video before they were made public.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. Amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute.
Brand claims that the media is heavily involved in these efforts, amplifying unproven allegations to damage his reputation.
I phoned and somebody asked what it was regarding, and I said, it's regarding Russel Brand being a sex offender.
Russel Brand knew about these allegations because the newspaper says they put them to him about a week ago.
He argues that this is a common tactic used to silence independent voices and maintain the established order. While the truth behind Brand's allegations remains doubtful, Brand's theory highlights his belief in a sinister conspiracy aimed at undermining individuals who challenge powerful interests. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like and check out other cool videos from our channel, Conspiracy Theories Revealed. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel to be notified of our latest videos as we continue to uncover and reveal conspiracy theories, where we let you be the judge.